Milos, when's the last time you played that well?
It's been a while, for sure. I think the end of last year I played a good match against Dominic. I created so many opportunities for myself, but I didn't have the chance to prepare like I did here. So I think I've had a sense that the tennis could come together if I could put the work in behind it, and I think all those pieces today came together, and I was very happy with the outcome on court.
You said you took time during the off-season to concentrate on your body and get your injuries rehabbed well. Is that playing out now?
I hope so. I've only played 4 matches this year, so I'm not getting anywhere ahead of myself. I took time. It was hard for me to skip Davis Cup. But I had to, spend time more because I was ailing a back issue throughout pretty much the whole year that I had to take time more. I didn't serve for about a month, but it allowed me to focus on other things and put other things together and get stronger, get fitter. And I think it was on good display today.
Milos, what was the experience of playing Tsitsipas like compared to what you may have seen on TV or video or what you might have thought of his game?
It's tough, he's got a quick hand. He can dictate the court and do things well. He can create a lot of shots when you don't expect somebody to create a shot to sort of keep himself in there. I knew for me today it was going to be important that I play well, but I play consistently well throughout the match. I wasn't having any fluctuations, and I think that was how I was going to create my opportunities, and it worked out well.
Your volleying, and especially your overhead, they were almost impeccable tonight. I mean, you couldn't have done much better than those two, could you?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would have to watch a match. I don't think I remember necessarily clearly, but a lot of the things I was doing, I felt good about. I thought I returned well. There was a bunch of games I would get myself into, but I wouldn't make it count. Even in the third set, I felt there was an opportunity at one point, maybe a 15-40 where I had an easy forehand. Like I felt like I had a clear game plan, and my game allowed me to execute well and to prepare well and do the things well, and it all came together nicely.
You mentioned that you only played about 4 matches this year so far. How much confidence does it give you knowing that you've gone deep in this tournament before?
It helps. I've always somehow figured out how to put it together here, especially if I've had the freedom to train well. I think I've only had really 1 year that was very disappointing here, but I came in that year only starting to play a week before the tournament tennis. So I think when I've had the freedom to really focus on my body, not go from tournament to tournament, focus on training and doing my things well and allowing myself to get confidence through that work, I've always managed to put things to a pretty presentable and level I can be happy with, and then from there on, you got to go out on court, fight, and it worked out well.
Milos, since you started coming down here, I think they've changed the balls. They may even have changed the surface from rebound ace. I can't remember exactly when they did that. So it's certainly not. It's not just the conditions here from that year when you were out against Andreas Martin in the qualies and ended up making 4th round. To now, that's 9 years. Are there any other aspects of playing down here, except maybe being fresh at the beginning of the season, that you can point to as to why it just seems to suit you so well?
I'm not the kind of guy that goes and is happy to play 3 tournaments in a row, and I need to find a way to win the first 3 matches to get my confidence. For me, I think it's really about doing the work and having the freedom to do it. I try not to play more than 2 consecutive tournaments for a reason and all these kind of things, because those training blocks are important to me, and I think I can't stress enough how important those weeks that I was able to have this off season are for me, and to not be always stopping and starting. And so far I've been very fortunate to have that kind of freedom to train, and I think here it tends to be warmer, speeds it up a little bit. It can be humid, but most of the time it's not too humid, so that also allows the ball to move quicker through the court. And just mentally fresh, because I haven't carried a lot of things with me like I may through other parts of the year, like the U.S. Open, where I think I should have done better, considering how those courts play. I think it's more my situation that I bring into the tournament than anything else.
Your game obviously frustrates a lot of opponents. How aware tonight were you of him getting frustrated, especially maybe the first and second sets?
You know, I know I'm not necessarily easy to play, especially if I serve well, if I do my things well, if I can find a way to move forward. There's not many guys necessarily that play the way I do, and I can find an efficiency in it. So I'm aware of that. I wasn't really caught up in what was going on with him, but I could imagine that, you know, not having any opportunities on the return games, it can be frustrating, especially him who, you know, first match he played really well, got through quite easy, didn't get to play a second match, but, you know, I just tried to keep him off balance, and I know that's sort of my recipe for success, if I can sort of keep the guy feeling uncomfortable.
Is there anything different that you did this off season compared to previous off seasons?
I think it's been the first off-season. I switched around the people that are with me. So the methods have been a little bit different in that sense, but tennis coaches stayed the same, but everybody else sort of rotated around what I was doing in the gym, and also how I was rehabbing and these kind of things. I spent 2 weeks in Boston to focus on a few things there with a group of guys, and then I spent 4 weeks training down in the Caribbean.
Do you think you've been able to play with a bit more freedom, considering your seeding isn't as high as it has been in previous years at majors?
Maybe after after I sort of find my way in a match. The thing is, I was really hoping to do much better in the first week of the tournament, and normally I come in here playing more than one match, and so there was that kind of anxiousness because I wasn't sure how things were going to come out and when the things were going to come together for me. So it has since allowed me a bit more freedom, but obviously I knew I was going to have a much tougher draw because of it, and earlier on as well. So I'm happy that somehow, due to a few pullouts, that I did squeeze into a seeding last minute. But so that gave me a little bit more freedom in the first 2 rounds. But you know, it's come together. It's hard to really pinpoint on exactly what.
Talk about your next match.
Yeah, Marion, it's going to be tough. He's won 2 very good matches, the last 2, and even the first one that he won comfortably against a guy who played finals, who I lost to in the first tournament of the year. So I'm going to have to focus on my things. I think we're both going to be trying to make the other guy move around, be the one dictating. It's going to be important for me to get ahead early in the points, take care of my serve, and be the aggressor.